our number one problem is noise, and it comes in many forms. West Hollywood, where we are, which is surrounded by Los Angeles on all four sides, is a 24/7 city. And so there are nightclubs, there are a lot of young people, there's a lot of activity, and we're learning to live with a higher level of noise, but it does create problems for people who have more of a traditional lifestyle. Noise comes from, as far as neighbors, with old housing, apartments that are not insulated properly, even though they may be in upscale neighborhoods. Barking dogs, Americans seem to love our dogs, as maybe other countries do.
But not our neighbors.
But not our neighbors, especially when they bark at us when we come home. So these are typical cases that we have. We also have a lot of landlord-tenant, because we're in a very strong rent-controlled area, and there are very strong conditions. So we do a lot of tenant-landlord, and as we said, neighbor-to-neighbor. That may be noise as well.
And cross-cultural, do you do a lot? West
yes,
Hollywood's pretty diverse, right?
It's not as diverse as Los Angeles, but we do have cases where I think the interpretation of problems or expectations are different. We've done with different cultures and the way they perceive problems and the way they feel that disputes should be handled. So we've had to deal with that during the mediation and take a step back and see what their expectations were, and why it got to the point of being a dispute.
So we have I swim regularly in the West Hollywood pool, and there are a lot of Eastern Europeans in that pool, so that we have a very large Eastern European population. Are there particular cross-cultural problems that you've had? We also live in a town that is very gay-friendly and lesbian-friendly, transgender friendly. So do you have particular problems with the immigrants who come from a very, very different culture to a town that is cosmopolitan and very tolerant?
Sometimes, yes, we do. In our particular area, there is an older population that does not speak English. And so the fact that they haven't completely immersed themselves into the English-speaking community presents another problem, because they're still traditional with the old lifestyles. And the old lifestyles, in many cases, more like a village lifestyle, in which they're more tolerant of certain things. For example, smoking. Late hour noise may not be a problem if you're from a certain area, or certain holidays, where we're not a very smoking tolerant society anymore. So that has believe it or not, that has presented a lot of problems, and also the way people communicate with it in the summertime with open windows and yelling across to other neighbors. It seems to have a little bit more tolerance than what we're used to. So we deal with those kind of issues. Old traditional values as opposed to what we have grown up to be as far as with common courtesy.
So you're in the trenches, on the ground. Tell me what's satisfying about the work you do, because I know that you love it.
I think in the community mediation program, you never know when the telephone rings what the call is going to bring. And we've had everything from a prisoner losing an eye during a prison riot, a mother calling in tears, to, as you had mentioned, a paternity case where the man was emotionally distraught, not knowing and wanting to know. We've had people who have some mental challenges, working with them, also people who are affected with AIDS. So what is satisfying to me is when we're able to at least get the party to start to focus on the problem, and even when they start contributing to the resolution of their problem, and the emotions start to calm down, and they start reasoning with themselves, well, maybe I wasn't exactly polite and when we can start seeing that, then we know the avenue's open and we can start the parties working together. And that is, to me, very satisfying to see that people are able to resolve their problems, given the proper, as you had mentioned, environment that provides safety and trust and confidentiality. So
Okay.
that's the part I like.
All right. Well, I know we went over time. I'd love to talk to Kathryn more, and we probably will in the next year. Bring her on back because she's very close to me. And I've fallen completely out of the. So we'd like to say thank you, Jeff, again
Thank you very much.
For making the video blog possible, and for bringing people together. And I'll turn Kathryn on to where she can see other people talking about their mediation experiences.
Thank you, Vicki, very much.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness.